So then it goes to this thing where it goes back to the bridge pickup, and it goes, which is a real typical E minor blues thing, where you pull off from the 3rd fret of the E string to the open, right? Then you skip to the A string and you play an open A, and then you play the 2nd fret of the A string. So the whole thing is. So now it gets into a little chord section, which again, it's doing those chords that I showed you at the beginning, which is this C sus9, sus2, whatever you want to call it. And it's just going up. But at this first chord, it goes up that chord. Again, you're barring the 3rd fret, and then your 3rd and 4th finger are playing the 5th fret of the D and G string. Right? And after it goes up all those strings, then it goes back down from the 5th fret of the B string to the 3rd fret of the B string. So, and then the last note is again that 5th fret of the G string. So, and there's some heavy muting going on at the beginning. It's not just. So then it moves up a whole step and it does. It just does that, but it doesn't play the E string. So. And it does the same thing as, again, we said at the beginning. On this one, it runs up that chord, and when you get to the B string, 7th fret, you play the 8th fret, and that's the note that rings out with vibrato. So you have. Then it goes down to that bar chord thing from the G to the F sharp to the F to the E. Now when it gets to that E chord, that's when it goes into this really cool riff, and this is one thing I want to talk about too. It's a cool little sequenced scale kind of thing. You can almost think of it as an arpeggio or a scale because it's skipping a few notes here. It's a repetitive pattern sequence with raising one note at a time chromatically in the bass to suggest different chords. So you basically have this. So it's doing the same pattern, but it's changing the bass note from this note to this note to this note. So you're going from starting on the 2nd fret, the second time around it's the 3rd fret, and the 3rd time around it's the 4th fret, all on the A string. And the pattern that goes in between those is 2nd fret of the A string to the 2nd, 4th, 5th of the D string. Then it does an open G string, so you have. So you have this cool little unison 3-note thing going on from. Right, and when it gets back down to walking down that 5, 4, 2 on the D string, it does this alternate picking thing where it's on the G string, 5th fret, back to the 2nd fret of the D string, then the 4th fret of the G string, then back to the 2nd fret. It's always pivoting off the 2nd fret of the D string. So 5, 4, and 2 on the G string with the 2nd fret of the D string in between each one of those notes. So you have. Actually, on that 2nd fret of the G string, it doesn't go back down to that 2nd fret. It goes 2nd fret, G string, to 5, 4, 2 on the D string. So you have. Then that's where you change to the next note in the pattern. Then it doesn't walk down that whole pattern. It stops on that 5th fret of the D string. And then it does this thing where it slides into the 5th fret of the A string to the 6th fret of the A string. And then it just ends on an E chord and with some tremolo on the E note. Then it does this thing with the 5th fret on the G string harmonic. And then it dives down. So anyway, now what I want to talk about real quick with this is that lick can be played a few different ways, and it's kind of it's played in double time, so it's really fast, and you have to mute some of the strings. You don't want them all just ringing out. You know, you just don't want this noise going on. You really want to control it so that you articulate each note. But the thing that I do that I don't think he does is I use my middle finger for the alternate picking part. So I do all pick notes, then I do chicken picking from the middle finger's picking all the notes on the G string and the pick's picking that 2nd fret on the D string. So So what I think he does is alternate picking, and the way I think you'll have an easier time if that's the way you want to do it is starting with an upstroke. It's all alternate picking, but you start with the upstroke on that 2nd fret of the A string instead of a downstroke. Because if you start on a downstroke, what happens is you have down, up, down. I'm sorry, you have down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So the downstrokes come on the G, or the downstrokes come on the G, so you're picking in between strings, which is really awkward. So in order to get that alternate picking of picking on opposite sides of the strings when you do this part, you're going to want to start with an upstroke. So up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down. So you'll figure it out. Again, just really focus on that alternate picking if you want to do that. If not, if you want to do the chicken picking, it'll sound just fine, especially if you're muting those strings. All right, so that's pretty much the end of the lesson. It's a really cool solo, I think. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys got a lot out of it. Again, the little parts that I think you could take out of it and use in your own soloing are, you know, everything's, you know, really think of things in melodic phrases as opposed to just ripping licks all the time. So, like even the beginning section, right? You have... You know, that's really melodic, right? So when you're doing your pentatonics and stuff too, think of maybe the pentatonic... This is A minor pentatonic. Right? And you might even want to throw in that 9th note. Right? So you have... So when you phrase, you can do something like... Again, nothing spectacular, but what it's doing, instead of just running licks, you're actually phrasing with the pentatonic scale. So again, you have right? Again, nothing spectacular, but you see how I'm taking that pentatonic scale and instead of just running blues licks. I'm trying to be a little melodic with it. And that's what's going on here with what he's doing. He's just doing... But he's bending that note. So if you make a similar phrase to like what's going on there in the pentatonic scale, you could have... Right? It's really similar melody going on. Now the other thing that's really cool is, again, that arpeggio lick. So instead of just playing, right, you have, and instead of having this actually, right, you have the sequence in between, which really breaks up that arpeggio from just sounding like, you have just a really cool thing. And then again, the little subtleties of getting that little, those little muted notes in there beforehand. So you have, just a really, really cool subtle thing. And then of course that pentatonic thing where he slides down a little bit, where I normally wouldn't kind of choose to do that. And of course those Jeff Beck bends, if you're not used to those kind of things, those are really good. Use those anywhere. I mean, again, take A minor pentatonic. Now, of course you wouldn't want to do a whole pentatonic run like that, but take a listen to some Jeff Beck stuff. You'll see a million of those tricks, and they just sound awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. As far as what I'm using tone-wise, I'm using a Fender Vibroverb amp. It's a 65 reissue, I think. It's got a 15-watt, single 15-watt Celestion speaker in there. Really great amp. I love it. It's a little bit noisy. I don't know if you're going to hear it on here because one of the tubes is going, it's starting to crackle. But it usually sounds great once the tube's about to die, and I think that's what's going to happen. So, and as far as pedals, I'm going through an RC booster, an EP booster, into a BB preamp, Exotic Effects, and just with a little bit of gain on that, going into my Maxon SD9 overdrive pedal. And I love doubling those two pedals up because the BB gives you a great little distortion tone, just a little bit, and the Maxon just really beefens up the notes. It's kind of like a booster too. And then it goes into a Maxon AD999 analog delay, just to give a little bit of delay. So that's pretty much what's going on. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Check out guitarbreakdown.com. And again, keep coming back. We got a whole bunch of lessons coming up. I know we've kind of gotten into this rock thing with Phil X, and now this blues lesson. We will get back into the fusion kind of stuff and the chromatic-y, all that kind of stuff that I know you guys really enjoy. We have Scott Henderson's Creepin' Terror that we've been planning for a while, just finally getting back to it. We're going to probably have that up in the next couple weeks, so I hope you guys enjoy that. That's going to be a really long lesson, as if none of these lessons are really long. But that one's going to be long on purpose because it's going to be the whole solo, and there's so much to talk about in that. We're also going to do another Holdsworth lesson here in the coming weeks. So I hope you stick around for all those things. Again, spread the word if you can. We really want to kind of build a community here. So on Facebook and all the forums and anywhere you go, please spread the word about Guitar Breakdown. And yeah, I hope you guys come back for more. Like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And we will see you on the next lesson. Thanks again, guys. Bye.